I could go on about them. Oh my God, my blood pressure. If you're a freelance photographer or videographer or even a single member LLC production company, then here are some good tips for identifying and dealing with horrible photo and video clients that I've learned over the last 10 plus years. Tip number 1, don't send an email reply, don't respond, don't text back. In fact, don't speak. So you've taken on a project, and upon completion of filming and or photographing it, you've sent a video draft for approval or a single round of revisions, sent them edited photos, etc. and so on. Of course, we all want the "this is amazing, payment sent" response, but unfortunately it doesn't always go that way. So if you do get an asinine request, ridiculous feedback, a passive-aggressive suggestion, just let it percolate. Or better yet, type your response, text or email, then walk away from it. Then come back and simplify it. Then walk away from it again and don't send it. Basically, you want to create a buffer between the stimulus and your reaction to it. Then when you do respond with your own questions.
How is the mood striking you now?
It's not some reverse psychology thing, it's just a tool to manage the communication effectively. What I found is that many times asking them what they want and what it is specifically they were looking for, dare I say, giving them all of the perceived power, then one of two things will happen. 1, they can't effectively explain what they want and they realize it and ease off the ridiculous feedback. Or 2, they're able to talk through a couple minor changes which were far less involved than what their initial response of bad feedback seemed like. This has happened quite a few times to me. Good thing I didn't send my initial 3-paragraph snarky email. Tip number 2, sniff out the bad clients up front. Identify the red flags before the work starts. This one's a little harder, a little bit more of a mental skill and even social skill.
Nunchuck skills, bow hunting skills, computer hacking skills. Girls only want boyfriends who have great skills.
But it gets easier with time and practice. And unfortunately, with messing up and saying yes and then suffering through a project you're lucky to break even on. So you kind of have to fail at this before you learn how to fix it. But here's some examples. Here's a red flag regarding budget. It's one thing to negotiate prices, even haggle a bit, but it's a whole other thing to say something like, "I was expecting this to only cost X amount of dollars," or what the average American spends at the grocery store. "Oh, is that what you're expecting? Well, you just told me you didn't know what video production or professional photography costs. So why were you expecting anything?" And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll give clients a budget floor and a budget ceiling. Hey, based on my experience, I know it's gonna cost more than this, but it should cost at most that. Usually that gets us all within the right range where we're all on the same page. One of my favorites is always that they have a limited budget for this first one, but potential for growth, and they promise there will be more work coming my way. Oh, how lucky I am. What's that you say? You have a friend that will do it for cheaper? Your nephew Timmy has a camera?
You think I'm gonna wait for Timmy? Timmy don't even know he's working.
Please God, use them. You'd be foolish to use me and pay me your life savings. And that's just sniffing out the cheap chiselers that will use you once and never call you back. I had one potential client who has never actually asked for my prices, but has proceeded to email me once every 8 to 10 months. I kid you not, one email every 8 to 10 months for the last 2.5 to 3 years, essentially asking me random questions about my work and seeing if I can prove myself to them. I mean, how important is video or photography to your business if you're only thinking about it once every 10 months? Red flag. I don't care if they offer me $3,000 for 3 days of work next week, I ain't taking it. Tip number 3, manage expectations. This one is pretty common. This goes hand in hand with red flag identification too. So this can be a little bit more easily handled. For example, someone sending you something like, "We were hoping to do a video like this," and they proceed to send you a Nike commercial. I've had to explain this to potential clients before with something like a simple, "Hey Deb, hey Linda, I love this video example you sent. Bear in mind, this Nike commercial almost certainly had a 6-figure budget and a crew of maybe a dozen to 2 dozen or more people working on it. But I encourage you to explore my website or check out this linked video here that I've done of a, for example, sports shoot that showcases the quality of my work for the prices within your budget." Setting expectations is huge and can immediately hit the potential client with a dose of reality. It also helps you identify those potential clients that have that champagne taste with a beer budget. And honestly, if all those things fail, it's okay to just say something like, "Thanks so much for reaching out. Unfortunately, I'm booked full for the next 2, 3, 4 months.
1, 2, 5.
Lisa!
3.
but would be happy to refer you to someone in my photography or videography network that would do a great job, or something like that. Although even then, it's not up to you to find them their person. And if you know they're a headache or cheap or high maintenance, do you really want to send a friend or someone in your network to suffer at their hands? But it's all about setting and managing expectations, which brings me to my next tip. Put it in your proposal, an email, contract if you do those, anywhere in writing, in some form, and I quote, "Client gets a single round of revisions." I'm actually thankful to say I've always done this, and now I realize it's not only to protect my time, but also to identify the aforementioned red flag clients. It becomes a tool to separate the good from the horrific. Now, I've definitely done 2 or 3 rounds of revisions for maybe a client or two because I wanted them to be happy instead of me being all, well, the proposal only says 1 round. And I'm happy to admit, for one client, it worked out really, really well. His feedback and my re-edits made him super happy. But for all the rest, if you need something revised 2, 3, even 4 times,
5 is right out.
then it begs the question, did you even look at my portfolio and my work beforehand? Were you familiar with the quality of my work? If you want to hire me and pay me money, spend a few minutes on my website, watch a video or 2, look at my photos. That would give you a good idea of the quality of product you are getting. So if we're that far off after delivering the photos or videos, then there's just a disconnect. An outlier here would be, for example, this huge food project I'm doing now with this big chef. It's 45 short recipe videos, multiple shoots, multiple voiceover recording days, and they have been an awesome client from the jump. So after multiple pre-production meetings and me even offering to do a full day test shoot and edit, which I happily did for free to set the tone for the rest of the project, which they were thrilled with, I was able to give them a budget floor and a budget ceiling and let them know that depending on how many pickup shoots we needed, how many revisions, that could affect the final price. I knew the job would be big. I knew early on that they would have no problems paying. So an extra day of work up front and an extra couple days of work with revisions on the tail end of it, 0 problems. No problems with that whatsoever. They're a great client. The budget has climbed as work has been added because I planned for this, and they're okay with that. On the flip side, let me give you an example of the opposite, of a horrific client. I was hired to shoot for a company that does decorations for a certain holiday I won't mention.
It's Christmas time in the city.
But they do mostly residential decorations for gargantuan mansions and commercial decorations too for businesses and even like small scale public city spaces. So here's one of the photos I sent them after the first shoot I did of one of their mansions. Their feedback? Yo, I was just, my God. I just was looking at the photos I took. I had this whole rant plan for this video, and I was looking through the photos with like accurate self-appraisal, like trying to be honest. And they're actually like really, like a lot of them, I was like, these are fucking good. Like they're pretty good photos for what they are. Like there's nothing wrong with these. I thought I was misremembering. I was like, maybe they're crap and I was wrong and it was a long time ago. But then I got on their website and oh my God, the whole thing is a dump. First off, during this whole process, I had multiple shoots for them, photos and videos. Like the first round would be the photos are too dark. Then the next round would be the photos are too bright. Then I shit you not, I get a email from the owner like, we want our photos to look like this. And he sends me a photo of a mansion with the Christmas lights on during daytime. Christmas lights during daytime. Like nobody's ever been like, let's go out and drive around and look at Christmas lights during the daytime. The whole thing is a steaming dump. There was also like problems with getting paid. It was like one of those, yeah, the check's been sent out, it's in the mail, and like 6 weeks went by, and then they were like, oh, if you're driving by here, if you're on your way here, can you stop and get some more shots of this place? It's like, I already shot that. That's a reshoot. That'll cost this much. And then they didn't want it anymore. And the whole thing, oh my God, it's just a mess. I thought I was misremembering. I was like, maybe it was me, maybe it wasn't that bad. And then I just went on their website, just like pitch black photos, bright daylight photos of Christmas lights. And I'm just like, yeah, it's really that bad. So I didn't even want to go into this whole 3-4 minute rant, my blood pressure. I was just like, no, this is a dump. We're moving on. I'm all for peace, but resentments burn deep. So yeah, anyways, moving on. And by the way, anyone who thinks Christmas lights look better during the daytime than at nighttime is an absolute moron, an imbecile, plain and simple. So anyways, yeah, client gets a single round of revisions, standard operating procedure. When you have good clients, you'll know and you can give them more if needed and depending on the project. My next tip is to tread carefully working for friends and family. Now, I'm not talking about a friend or family member asking for a small favor. even though a lot of times they have no concept of how a small favor with a camera can still be a time-consuming task. I'm talking about taking on bigger paid projects where the relationship between you and a friend or family member can kind of warp their perception of your time and energy, the value, the budget, and ultimately can conflict with how we manage client, or in this case, a friend or family client's expectations. If a friend or family member sees what you do, is familiar with the quality of your work, and wants you to create something for them, they should have no problem, zero problem, paying you your full prices to support you. Because anyone heading into an agreement looking for a deal, whether it's a friend or a family member or a completely new potential client, is not the type of person you want to work with anyways. It's a red flag. On the flip side, I've done many jobs for friends and family members where I do give them a deal, a little friends and family discount, but that is my call. It's not theirs. I've had to learn the hard way, through experience of failures, how to manage expectations and work with friends and family when those opportunities arise. And just for fun, I'll give you an example, without putting this friend and their company on blast, of how I learned this specifically. And with the benefit of 2020 hindsight, I again accept that I had a part to play and the suffering I endured wasn't entirely their fault.
No, nothing. It's not you. It's me.
I have to shoulder some of this blame too. Anyways, a friend of mine runs a really unique company. He offered me a big project for his company, so I said yes. Up front, I did the right things and tried to get a detailed list of deliverables from him and his social media manager, PR person. Actually, I did this many times before the shooting took place, which we had to travel a long way for, like get on a plane and travel across an ocean for.
Nice try, Lao Shay.
And no matter how granular I tried to get with the deliverables, I never got a fully formed vision from them of what they actually wanted. How many videos, how long, vertical or horizontal, where the videos would go, YouTube, website, Instagram, Facebook, the style of videos, etc. and so on. They were all just really vague. We wanted to feel inviting, and we want to capture in video the essence of this and the essence of that. It's like, I don't know what any of that means. I need specific deliverables. I mean, I can get artsy-fartsy too, but we need specifics here. But admittedly, I got googly eyes about the feather in my cap nature of this project, so I kind of just stopped trying to get those deliverables after maybe 8 or 9 attempts, thinking I could figure some of it out in post, thinking the expectations had been managed well enough, and it was a disaster, a total disaster. Their expectations were through the roof, even though they didn't really know what they wanted, and the amount of revisions in post-production were astronomical. Him, his business partner, and his social media manager were constantly conflicting each other in their feedback. Just a disaster. Now, because of the nature of the travel, the actual experience while shooting, it was incredible in some ways. I accepted this financial loss without too much distress because I knew it still was a great opportunity, but simultaneously said I would never do it again, work for him on that scope of project. And I'm ashamed to admit, 4 months later, my memory did me a disservice and I was offered another opportunity with him. Googly eyes ensued, a vow to manage expectations this time, the demand for more money. I said I would learn from my mistakes.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
And there we were, email after email leading up to the project, which again included traveling on a plane for, me asking for specific deliverables, and I kid you not, the night before flying out of the country for this international project, I finally got an email of the deliverables, which was the exact same PDF as the first project with 1 or 2 words changed to reflect this newer project. And the post-production process on the second go-around was far worse this time. Revisions were more contradictory than the first time, and the scope of work just doubled. Now, to be fair, again, the experience of shooting and what I shot for them was as close to once in a lifetime as you can get, and I got portfolio pieces, and I learned a lot through these failures in terms of how to avoid this in the future. But most importantly, I'm happy to report that our friendship never suffered due to this entire work, business, and creative disconnect. And I think that's super important. So I guess that's the tip here too, is that you can take the hit, take the loss, take the suffering in stride, and not take it personally. Whether it's a project for a friend or family member, or some random client. Plus, 99% of people, clients, friends, family, are gonna be cool and fine to work with. But the 1% that aren't can sometimes really drag you down. So taking steps beforehand to mitigate this possibility will pay dividends in the long run. So, I hope you enjoyed. subscribe, like, comment. Does that really work? I don't know. I mean, is anyone like not gonna subscribe and then the person's like, subscribe, like, comment. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna subscribe after all. Thanks for telling me, reminding me. It's like, does that really work? I don't know. All right, anyways.